about the Pi Network. You've got millions of users, and right now it is on the brink of a huge evolution. Today, we're going to dig into an update that could seriously change the game for this entire community. So let's dive right in.
So, if you've been following along, you know the community is buzzing about something called Protocol V23. But what does it really do? What's the actual impact going to be for the network and for you, the users? That's the big question we're tackling today.
Okay, first things first. We need to be super clear about this. The V23 update, it's not just some minor patch or a bug fix. No way. Think of it as a massive foundational shift that the entire Pi ecosystem has been waiting for. It's basically laying the groundwork for the full mainnet launch.
So, what's at the heart of V23? Well, it's all about one thing: activating smart contracts. It's kind of like flipping a giant switch that suddenly powers up a whole new world of capabilities for every single app on the Pi network. This is the key, the thing that unlocks the entire next chapter. All right, so we've established that smart contracts are the key, but what even are they? And more importantly, why are they such a big deal for building Pi's new economy? Let's break it down.
When you really get down to it, the idea is actually pretty simple. A smart contract, it's basically a digital vending machine. Think about it. You put your money in this case crypto, the code itself verifies you've paid, and then bam, it automatically spits out the product or service. There's no middleman, no waiting for someone to approve it. It's all just code.
And the impact of this is, well, it's massive. Seriously, without V23, these critical features just can't exist. We're talking about the Pi Decentralized Exchange, the DEX, which is basically a marketplace that runs on code instead of a company. It just wouldn't work. Those liquidity pools that reward users can't be turned on. And all those decentralized apps, or dApps, on the network, they'd be stuck, unable to reach their full potential. Okay, so the tech is ready to go. But what does that mean for you, the user? How does this all translate into actual practical tools? Well, this is where things get really interesting, because this is where the network starts building its own self-contained economy. The whole idea here is to create an ecosystem that can sustain itself. See, instead of users having to take their Pi tokens and go to some outside exchange, the Pi DEX and these liquidity pools let them do all their trading right inside the network. The result? All that value, all that activity, it stays locked inside the Pi ecosystem.
And this chart right here, it really drives home the difference in strategy. Look, with the Pi DEX, your tokens stay put, right inside the ecosystem. You keep control of your assets, and the whole system is built to maximize rewards internally. That is a completely different game from a typical centralized exchange, where you're usually just trying to trade for other currencies, and you have to hand over control of your assets to a third party. So you've got this powerful new engine, but how is the community actually using it? I mean, it's one thing to build the tech, but you need people, drivers, to actually take it somewhere, right? Well, that's where the developers come in. And honestly, there is no better proof of this in action than the Pi 2025 Hackathon. This event has become a huge deal, a real focal point for developers. It just goes to show how pumped the community is to get their hands dirty and start building with these new V23 smart contract tools.
And to get those developers fired up, the network is putting some serious incentives on the table. We're talking a prize pool of 160,000 Pi tokens. That'll get your attention.
And guess what? It worked. The response has been absolutely huge. 173 new decentralized apps were submitted to compete. That's a lot of new projects.
So you see, this is way more than just a contest. It's a really smart, strategic move to fill the ecosystem with genuinely useful apps. All of them are built on V23's new tech, essentially getting them battle-tested and ready for prime time.
But let's be real for a second. You can have the coolest technology, the most creative apps, but if people don't trust the system, none of it matters. So how does the Pi network tackle that? How do they build that trust? Well, it all comes down to their security foundation.
Trust is everything. It's the bedrock of this whole thing. And Pi's approach to it is a mandatory, pretty advanced system called Know Your Customer, or KYC. The entire point is to make sure that every single person on the network is a real, unique human being. And this isn't just a simple checkbox. It's a really robust, multi-layered process. First, you have to verify a government-issued photo ID. Then, it uses a facial recognition scan to make sure you're the person on the ID. And finally, an AI-powered system goes over everything to confirm it's all legit. It's all about ensuring authenticity and stopping fraud in its tracks.
The goals here are pretty simple and straightforward, right?
Protect the millions of users from fraud. Make sure all their personal data is encrypted. And this is a big one, give users total control over their own information. This whole focus on verifying identity, it's all about building a safe, secure ecosystem where people feel comfortable making transactions.
So when you put it all together, you've got the new V23 smart contracts, you've got the internal DEX, you've got this explosion of developer innovation, and it's all built on a strong foundation of security. Yeah, it's pretty easy to see why people are calling this a pivotal moment for the Pi Network. It really is the point where the tech, the community, and the security all come together.
And that, of course, leads us to the big final question. The network has been so deliberate about laying this foundation. The tech is rolling out, the apps are being built, the security is in place. So, with all of these pieces finally clicking into place, is the Pi Network ready? Is it ready to make that massive leap to its open mainnet future? We'll leave you to think on that one. Thanks for tuning in.